Hey guys! The first session of meeting with a new therapist can be really nerve-wracking, especially if you don't know what to expect. Every therapist will have their own style and be a little bit different, but today we're going to talk about exactly what it would be like if you come to see me for a first session. I'm Elizabeth Kromhout, a licensed psychotherapist and adolescent specialist. I've been working with adolescents and their families for the past 7 years. For more videos on mental health, please subscribe below and leave me a comment. Let me know what your feelings have been about meeting with a therapist for the first time. What makes you nervous? What makes you excited? What's it like for you? Today we're going to go over what an intake looks like. Usually the first thing that will have happened is one of your parents has called me on the phone and we've talked for say 10 or 15 minutes. I've gotten a really bare bones background of what's going on. So I'll say to them and explain, every family is different, so you'll have to decide what's best for yours. But just in a general sense, I do like to meet with both parents and the teenager for the first session. It's really helpful to get differing perspectives and also to see just the general vibe of how you guys are together. So if that's something that works for you guys, I really would like you all to come in and meet with me. So now you're all sitting in my office. I'll open by saying the purpose of this session is for me to get to know you. Who are you? Sort of share with me a background of your history and also what's going on right now. If you're a bit on the shy side, one of your parents can start and they can give me background of you as your history as a person and what they think is contributing to the way that you feel now. If you're more outgoing and you want to talk first, you can certainly go ahead. If you want to chitty chat, that's totally fine. If you need some prompting of questions, that's also fine. I'll ask you where you're from, where you live. Did you grow up here in LA? What school do you go to? Do you have any siblings? What's your relationship with them like? Do you have a lot of friends or a few friends? What do you think of them? Are you happy with it? Are you unhappy with your social circle? I'll ask you about school. How are your teachers? How are you with academics? How are your extracurriculars? What do you like to do? Kind of anything that paints me a picture of who you are. That's kind of what we're going for. And then also, it's helpful, especially that your parents are here for the first session, because I'm interested in knowing sort of what you were like as an infant, kind of specific temperament things do stay stable throughout our entire lives. So I'd like to know if you seem to be bombarded with stimulus even when you were an infant and everything kind of felt overwhelming and you were highly sensitive, and that's still the same today and might be impacting some of the symptoms you're feeling, versus something that has never shown up anywhere in your history until all of a sudden in 8th grade after XYZ happened, now you have these symptoms of anxiety or depression or withdrawing from your friends. It's important for me to tease apart what things are sort of in your DNA and what things are because of an external traumatic event that have happened. What else do we want to know? I also want to know your family history. Parents, again, are helpful for this. Is there any history of severe depression and maybe suicide in your family? Is there a history of bipolar or schizophrenia or really high anxiety? Is there a history of trauma? Say, I get a lot of clients whose grandparents have somehow been involved in World War II. Depending on what country they were from, there's a lot of familial trauma that can get transferred down through something as horrible as, say, the Holocaust. By now, we've probably come pretty close to the end of the 50 minutes. I've gotten a bit of background about you and I've started to understand kind of what's going on in your family system. So the next session when we meet, it's probably just going to be me and you. We're going to continue painting this picture of your life and what's going on and what's important to you. I can ask you questions if you want. I tend to shy away from that because I don't really know what's important. I'm not going to let you sit there and stare at me like I have no idea what to do. I'll help you out if you want me to help you out. But say you just had the worst day at school, you failed the test that you had studied really hard for, you were super angry at your teacher, you got in a fight with your mom, your friend said something really embarrassing and now you're super angry at her, all that stuff. I don't know how to ask that because I wouldn't know what happened. So I usually take a very sort of deep-seated approach that you know what's important to talk about. I'll help you kind of get there if you want, but I believe that you know better than I do what's what needs to be talked about. So I'm not very direct with my questioning. I'm not direct with the session. I let you take the lead, and I'm here to listen and chitty chat with whatever you need to talk about, and then I'll point out the things that you're missing and your blind spots and help you connect different parts of what you're saying together so you have a different view of what's going on. I'm not the kind of therapist who has pages and pages of assessments to fill out and a bunch of questionnaires. I use one sometimes for depression, but it takes 5 minutes to fill out. The rest of it I just do through talking. So I'm a lot more laid back and sort of chitty chat aimed. Most of the psychotherapy and the analyzing goes on in my head, and you don't see it. I intentionally present our conversations as regular people conversations. Let's just sit down and talk about what hurts. So if you liked this video and you would like to see more, please subscribe below, and please leave me a comment and let me know what your first sessions with therapists have been like.